How are you finding this international break? Don't tell me. Boring as hell. Well, hopefully the latest Daily Tottenham Hotspur news can help bring at least a bit of interest to what is frankly such a dull time to be a football fan. In today's episode, links to English national team stars. Sonny says no to coming back and much more. Thanks so much for watching and listening wherever you are. Do give this video a like if you're on YouTube. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Getting closer to the transfer window opening, and as a result, I will be doing more and more daily Tottenham transfer news as well. So keep across it with that subscribe button. Also, as you can see from the screen, we have a sponsor now, okjersey.com. They sell the best current and retro jerseys from all around the world, but also some of the best Tottenham old school tops. So scan the QR code or go to okjersey.com and use the code BARN, that's B-A-R-N, short for Barnaby, in the coupon box to get 8% off when you're buying. Okay, let's get started. And a player who's been on our list a long time, not least exciting to the Spurs fans because he is a massive Spurs fan, and that's Bournemouth's Alex Scott. We looked at potentially buying him before he made his £25 million move to Bournemouth. He's been very unlucky in the 2 seasons or so since he's been at Bournemouth with injuries, but he's really coming into his own this season. A kind of young Jack Grealish, wears his socks around his ankles, proper playmaker, loves getting on the ball, really genuinely a kind of old school Tottenham-esque player. And now the recruitment team are still very keen on signing him. Again, I say this pretty regularly with the potential of buying Premier League players. So difficult to get players out of even Premier League clubs who are deemed to be smaller than us. Obviously, Bournemouth doing really well this season, but they do have a stadium that only holds about 12 or 13,000 people. So they're undoubtedly a smaller club than us, but they get so much money from broadcasting rights these days and their finishing positions in the Premier League that they don't need to sell unless it's for big money. They did sell a lot of their backline in the summer transfer window, but they got absolute top dollar for them. Absolute top dollar. And if Semenyo is going to leave them this January or next summer, and Alex Scott as well, then they will be looking at kind of minimum £50 million, probably £60 million for Scott, maybe even up to 80 for Semenyo. So another test, I think, or one of the first tests for the Lewis family, for Vinay Venkatesham. How badly do they want players who are going to come straight into the first team and change things? And I think Alex Scott is a player who could do that. He could definitely fight with Bentancur, I think, for that number 8 spot, for instance. And obviously, we've talked about Semenyo a lot. He would be a game changer for Tottenham Hotspur. And for me, if I'm Vinay Venkatesham, I just slap down £95 million for him. I know he might sound bonkers to you, but do we want to be seen to be a club who is willing to challenge those clubs who spend more money, pay more wages above us? Because a lot of them have spent a huge amount of money in the summer. For instance, Liverpool, who are being heavily linked with Semenyo. And I think if Spurs want to show properly that they're going to challenge, they have to do what Liverpool did back in the day under Jurgen Klopp, when they were in a similar kind of transitional period as Tottenham are now under Thomas Frank. And they said, well, what do we need? We need a goalkeeper, a top-class goalkeeper, and we need a top-class centre-back. So they slapped £75 million each on Alisson and Virgil van Dijk. And that was before £75 million was, kind of almost the market rate for a top player now. It was before. They had to pay over the odds. They did pay over the odds. And can you say, many, many years later that it's worked out for them? Absolutely. And that's what Spurs need to start doing. That will be the acid test for me when it comes to the Lewis family and Vinay Venkatesham. Are we prepared to go above and beyond the call of duty in terms of transfer fee and wages to get players in that we know that won't be a risk, that have the experience, that have the personality to take this club by the scruff of the neck and lead it on? And I think Semenyo is that type of player. Alex Scott, not at that level quite yet, but he is an exciting midfielder. And Spurs need more creativity. They need more bravery on the ball down the centre of the pitch. And they need players with the personality, like I said, to take the ball in difficult positions. Spurs also one of the clubs apparently watching Club Brugge defensive midfielder Alexander Stankovic. That's according to reports in Italy. Some reports also saying that Ivan Toney is unlikely to return to the Premier League in January. Even though Spurs boss Thomas Frank would love to have him on loan and has spoken to him, the problem is, and I've heard about this a lot with players, British players who've gone over to Saudi, there is a big issue tax-wise if they come back within a certain amount of years. And he would have to take a massive financial hit, Ivan Toney, if he were to leave Al Ahly in the summer of in this next January transfer window, and as a result, according to TalkSport, I mean, pinch of salt, but according to TalkSport, that means he apparently is kind of slightly resigned, Ivan Toney, to the fact that he's unlikely to get in Thomas Tuchel's England squad. Spurs want to sit down, according to Sky Sports, with Mickey van der Ven's representatives to discuss an improved contract. He still has 3.5 years left on his current contract, but that'll be down to 3 years in the summer and therefore 2 years next summer. So you can see why they want to sit down with him. Basically, again, another example. Lewis family, you've got to give him the wages. Get him at £200,000 a week. Get him on what Christian Romero is on, or just a tiny bit less because of Romero's age, I guess. He is undoubtedly a star. I can see why, if Daniel Levy was still in charge, maybe he'd be trying to lowball, not just because he's Daniel Levy, but also because of his injury record. But I think under Thomas Frank, he's doing far fewer sprints. He's being put under far less danger in terms of his hamstrings, in terms of his muscles. And I think he's really showing Mickey van der Ven what a player is. Yes, he has made some mistakes that have led to goals this season in terms of the stats. But as an example, the one against Man United where Pat Matasar fires it at him from 2 yards, that's not Mickey van der Ven's mistake. That may go down in the data as Mickey van der Ven's mistake, but not for me. And he scored, 5 goals already? Absolute beast of a player. Okay, Spurs, absolute legend, the lifter of the Europa League trophy. One of my heroes, Son Heung-min, has been asked now and has given some quotes on whether he would be willing to come back to Spurs on loan in January. Obviously, what happens with a lot of these players who've played in Europe who then go out to the MLS is the MLS stops around about between now and Christmas and onwards into the new year. And do you remember David Beckham, for instance, when he was at LA Galaxy? He went on loan to PSG. He went on loan to AC Milan. And Son Heung-min was asked whether he fancies coming back to Spurs on loan. He said, "I've never spoken to any club about a winter move. Such talk is simply untrue. For me, showing respect to my club and giving everything where I play, that's what matters most. That won't change." I mean, what a surprise. I mean, Sonny, the most loyal player possibly we've had at Spurs in this last few generations. He said, "I won't leave Los Angeles this winter or ever while I'm here. I respect this club deeply. As long as I'm wearing this badge, there'll be no such thing as a loan or a move. Never. I know fans get confused when rumors fly about, but these stories are not true. And honestly, it might be disrespectful to my team to even talk that way. I love this club and I have huge respect for everyone here." What a legend Sonny is. I mean, that's why everybody loves him all around the world. I think it's right. He has talked in other interviews about wanting to come back to Spurs to say goodbye to the fans, probably at a home game or something like that. For me, I think we give him a testimonial. Give Son Heung-min a testimonial so that we can all go there and properly thank him. And also he can get together, a team of his luminaries. I think that would be absolutely amazing. That's something that if Vinay Venkateshan wants to improve the relationship with the fans, he should put that in place as well. Former Spurs star David Bentley, going back to the Ivan Toney thing, actually, he said how much he thinks it would suit Spurs to get Ivan Toney, and he said he'll want to go in at Tottenham. For him to go and play at a stadium with Thomas Frank, that's the perfect destination for him. If he wants to get into the England team, it's not about money, it's about playing to get into the World Cup squad. Well, I'd argue, David Bentley, if it wasn't about the money for Ivan Toney, he didn't have to go to Saudi Arabia. But Bentley goes on to say the perfect environment is Tottenham. Tottenham could do with him, and England as well. If anything happens with Kane, we're struggling for centre forwards. He's a great player. Scoring goals in the Premier League is not easy, and the way he plays the game, scores goals. He's got to go to Tottenham, hasn't he? Well, not realistically, because even though David Bentley says it's not all about money, he went to Saudi Arabia, and now, realistically, as I said earlier, he'd have to take a massive tax hit if he was going to come back to England, even if it was on loan for 6 months. So I guess we'll find out one way or the other with Ivan Toney if it is about the money, because I'm pretty sure if he was available and was willing to take that tax hit, then Thomas Frank would snap him up on loan very, very quickly in January. Anyway, before I go on to the more Tottenham news, here's a word from our sponsor. Get yourself to okjersey.com, where you can buy the best football shirts around, including this one I'm wearing now, and of course, the absolutely magnificent Black Spurs away shirt. And as if that wasn't enough, you go onto their website and like the look of one of the shirts there, choose your size, pick the Champions League badge for the sleeve as well if you're that way inclined, then go to checkout and type the code BARN into the coupon section. That's BARN as in short for Barnaby. And when you do, you'll get a whopping 8% off your purchase. Now, I'm no mathematician, but 8% means if you've spent, say, and let's face it, I'm being optimistic here, 100 quid, then you'd get £8 off, not to be sniffed at. Get yourself to okjersey.com to pick one up, or if you're too lazy to type in the website, just scan the QR code that's on the left of me throughout this video. Enjoy. Okay, so here's some news on Randall Colomwani and his broken jaw. As I mentioned earlier this week in a video, it's very heavily reported that he won't require surgery. So the games that he's likely to miss, if he's out for kind of more like 4 weeks rather than 8. Arsenal away, Paris Saint-Germain away, and Fulham at home in November. Then Newcastle away, Brentford at home, Slavia Prague at home, Forest away, and Liverpool at home. It's still a lot of games to miss, isn't it? And therefore, I think a big chance to Matisse Tell, who scored 2 very impressive goals away at Leeds and at home to Manchester United, showing me if we can get the ball into his feet, in and around the box. He's got a great shot on him. That's what we need to do. We need to, I think, almost get Jermaine Defoe down to the club, training with Matisse Tell, and show him and just say to him, look, you've got a similar kind of low backlift to me, makes it hard for goalkeepers. This is how to use your muscle to rotate defenders around, like you did against De Ligt. And this is how to get in positions and roll defenders without letting them get ahead of you when you're trying to hold the ball up. But Tell said this after the game against United, said, the reaction in the second half was very positive. We showed a great mentality. I would say we deserved to win this game because we gave a lot for sure. It's disappointing we didn't, but I would say we need to stay positive because we didn't lose. We knew we needed to give 100% energy defensively and offensively. That's what we tried to do in the second half, and that's why we scored the first goal as well as the second. It was a good reaction from the team. It's a good point to take, so stay positive. I listened to the stadium. I was very happy because that was, I think, an important goal. That's what I try to do every day, just try to work and help the team. I'm very happy about the goal, and I will every day try to help this side. It doesn't matter what emotion you feel, just stay positive, try to fight every day, and you'll get what you want to get. It's always about fighting, fighting, fighting. We just want to stay positive because after the international break, we're playing again, Champions League, Premier League. We don't have time to think about something else. Just make sure we're ready. He's got a really great attitude, hasn't he, Matisse Tell? He's certainly taken some bumps since he's been at Spurs. He hasn't even been at the club for a year yet, and only less than 6 months really on a full-time deal. But he's really taken the knocks, and it'll be a hell of a story if he really shows the class that he undoubtedly has and is able to properly get used to the Premier League. He could be absolutely vital in this next month or two, if assuming that Randall Colomwani isn't going to be back and we're not going to get Ivan Toney. Some more news. Radu Dragusin played 45 minutes in a behind closed doors friendly against Leyton Orient as he continued his recovery from injury. He actually came out and did some interview afterwards saying how happy he was to be back on the pitch, how it's important to kind of feel that almost like from what I saw in his interview, he was talking about having to feel what it's like going up against people and not thinking about your knee all the time. You know, he did an ACL, so obviously it's on his mind when he's in training all the time. But at some point, you have to get back out on the pitch against players who are trying to put you under pressure and just remember what it's like to go one-on-one. And Radu Dragusin said he was really pleased. I think there is a chance that Dragusin will show his best football under Thomas Frank. He won't be asked to do that much on the ball, or certainly compared to how he was under Ange Postecoglou. And I think him and Kevin Danso will have a decent scrap between them to see who is the first choice behind Van der Ven and Romero. Also, Deki Kulusevski is currently out training in Dubai along with Destiny Udogie. He's been spotted going through drills with a Spurs coach, training on the grass, which is really good progress for his recovery. He hasn't featured since May 2025, and Deki hopefully due to be back in a Spurs shirt before the end of this year. But for me, similar to James Maddison, let's not take any risks with Kulusevski. If it involves waiting till maybe the beginning of 2026, then let's do that. Let's just get him fully kind of get a proper pre-season into him almost. Same with Dragusin, and get those players back for the beginning of 2026 and hope that we can really, maybe with Solanke coming back as well, hit 2026 with a properly full squad, rotational ability, and Thomas Frank can try and just continue to pick up points before then for us. Final bit of news, Tyrese Hall scored the decisive goal and won man of the match for Notts County. He's doing really well on loan at Notts County as they won against Cheltenham Town 2-1 back on Monday night. He got the Player of the Match trophy on Sky Sports after the game, and he scored 5 league goals and 6 in all comps since joining Notts County. So alongside Will Langshire on loan at Oxford and Mikey Moore at Rangers, who also scored in their last game for their clubs, all these young Spurs talents doing well, which is really, really good to see. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Do give this video a like. Do press that subscribe button if you haven't already to the channel for daily Tottenham news. And of course, try and enjoy if you can, this time off from the Premier League. I know it's boring, but only a week and a couple of days now until we're back with the North London derby. Come on, you Spurs. Get yourself to okjersey.com, where you can buy the best football shirts around, including this one I'm wearing now, and of course, the absolutely magnificent black Spurs away shirt. And as if that wasn't enough, if you go onto their website and like the look of one of the shirts there, choose your size, pick the Champions League badge for the sleeve as well if you're that way inclined, then go to checkout and type the code BARN into the coupon section. That's BARN as in short for Barnaby. And when you do, you'll get a whopping 8% off your purchase. Now, I'm no mathematician, but 8% means if you've spent, say, and let's face it, I'm being optimistic here, 100 quid, then you get £8 off, not to be sniffed at. Get yourself to okjersey.com to pick one up, or if you're too lazy to type in the website, just scan the QR code that's on the left of me throughout this video.